OLSN has two parts to it. One is the learning to read, and the other is the reading to learn, right? So with the learning to read, it's actually what's the most controversial part of it, which is to say, rather than having to abstractly train brains to have the reflexive response to confusion and have the skills and the abstract knowledge of how words work and letters and sounds work, to be able to work through that confusion to word recognition in the solitary confines of their mind, right? Which is the way it's been for thousands of years, right? Yeah. Forever. That touching the word would provide everything that somebody could need to learn that word right there, right now, right live, which is the way kids learn everything else. If you remember our conversations about the skateboard, for example.
Skateboarder.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So they could skateboard through learning the word rather than having to have it all crammed into their head, which is where the breakdown happens and has been happening for decades.
Right.
So one thing is to solve for the reading problem that way. And the other thing is to solve for the reading to learn problem by saying, well, I recognize the word, but damned if I know what it means.
What the hell is that? Right.
What does it mean here? So again, right there, without having to guess and jump and hopefully, contextually backfill or any of the other, questionable strategies that kids evolve or, adapt to. That the point being in both cases, and this goes all the way also back to what we talked about early on, right? The most important thing we can do is exercise their awareness that, hey, something ain't right. Something's not working here, right? What is it I need? Oh, yeah, let me go get that. That dynamic of being a participant rather than, a manipulated object, right? Yes. That participation, that kind of becoming ever more discriminating of and differentiating of and trusting of and able to disambiguate their own needs and act on those needs, that's the center of their power to learn.
You bet.
Right? So how do we create the environment to do that? Well, OLSN is that, at both the learning to read level and at the reading to learn level. Doesn't go with all the other dimensions that I'd ultimately like to do, but it's a start.